Hey y'all, it's Mr. Ropes here at Ropes and Wings. I'm going live today with the lovely Heather Hink and Karen Stamper. Heather is from Quantum Healing Within, and Karen is from Journeying Soul Therapy. These girls are my absolute inspirations, and I can't be thankful enough to how much these girls have helped me on this path of healing. Um, so it's an absolute pleasure to be talking with them today. And we wanted to come and talk to you about how we can release the emotional and traumatic baggage that we've all been carrying around for our entire lives, maybe many lives. Um, so, with that being said, I'm going to throw it to Heather. I want her to give us a brief how she got here and where people can find her.
Great. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. My name is Heather Hink, and I'm with Quantum Healing Within. I'm a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner trained in SCHH, which is Soul Center Healing Hypnosis, as well as Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis. And you can find me at quantumhealingwithin.com and also on YouTube under Quantum Healing Within.
Beautiful. And that sweet Southern voice.
Thanks.
Karen, it's to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for having us. I'm Karen, or Kaz, as my friends like to call me, and I am an SCHH practitioner here in Cambridge, UK. And you can find me at journeyingsoultherapy.com, or on YouTube, I am Journeying Soul Therapy.
Beautiful. And my other favorite accent, the English accent. Gotta love that.
Yep. I agree. One of my favorites too.
It's that voice that just is nurturing and just puts you under real fast.
Beautiful.
It's awesome. So, as many of you know, I guess it's probably been really recent for me. I've gone down this path of healing and this different healing modality. Of course, I've been a paramedic in different occupations for over 30 years with the police department, rescue, and all that stuff. And over that time, I've realized going down this new path and with the craziness that is going on today, and how things that we keep trying to heal and help people get rid of or help them, it doesn't really help. There's something at the root that is causing this illness or disease or problems to keep coming up. And as I started studying down different modalities to try to figure out what would happen, I came across healing hypnosis, quantum healing hypnosis. I started out BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis. And when I was doing it, though, I didn't find that I was getting to the root cause of the problem. So I happened upon Soul Center Healing Hypnosis, where my lovely Heather Hink, I found her and was listening and eating up all her sessions. And then I found Karen listening to her sessions and eating up all her sessions. And this is just a beautiful healing modality, because with Soul Center Healing Hypnosis, we can get to the root cause. And that root cause in most people, and pretty much probably everybody, is either entities, attachments, emotional and traumatic blockages that we store and are carrying along with us as unneeded baggage. And we don't know this. We don't know. It's unseen. It's not told to us. It's not told to us in school. So we need to get in there and get rid of that stuff so we can start to heal, so we can start to get more energy, become more vibrant, and do all the things that we come to this life and we're set out to do. So as I started studying and listened to these girls' sessions and many others like Dolores Cannon and Alba Weinman. And then I came across, through Heather, I came across Laura Whitworth, who is the founder of Soul Center Healing Hypnosis. And I took a course, and it's absolutely amazing. But after studying these modalities, I look back on my life as a medic, as a warrior, and I realize of how many dark places that I've gone into in people's darkest time, traumatic death, traumatic things. Hospitals are full with the unseen walking around. And I never realized how protections were that important to be putting up. Didn't know any better, but I started looking back to all these things. And then I started attributing it to the things that were affecting me now and at this time. And it's absolutely unfathomable. It's hard to even understand. It's weird. It's even freaking weird me talking about it, because it's not something I would be doing. But I have Karen and Heather here to talk with us today, and we want to share with you how this could help you so you can live a more vibrant, healthy life and actually be brighter. Um, I'm I'm tired of discussing what's going to happen. Well, who did this to us? Who did that to us? What's going on in the world? The bad things that are going on in the world. It's time for us to start looking and going inside ourselves and healing, and then creating the reality and the world we want. We are all warriors, we are all healers, and we are all creators, and we can create the reality we want. We just have to open up the flow and get rid of the excess baggage that is pushing us down through programming of religion and education and the government. So it's just amazing to me. I've been on a freaking hyper roll ever since my session with Laura that I had, and things are just flowing. Things are great. I feel perfect.
You had an incredible session that I listened to and had quite a few entities released off of you. How did you feel after that session? What did you experience?
Oh, it's even hard to put in words. I mean, I felt lighter. I have so much energy. I look like I'm a hyper kid on freaking sugar. Um, but uh, you know, with the quantum healing, I didn't really do anything with it because I was just doing in person, and I was just so I just did close friends and family, and I ran into 2 blocks with my wife, which found out. But with that being said, I never did anything with the quantum healing. But as soon as I had that baggage, that stuff that's been weighing me down, causing me pain, um, man, stuff kept flowing. I whipped out the page in a few days. I been having dreams. I feel brighter. I even look different when I look in the mirror. I mean, yesterday I looked in the mirror and I go, boy, you look different. You look better. So I'm not a buff Jason Momoa or something like that, but I mean, I definitely look better.
That's amazing. So yeah, I mean, self-care is the first step, isn't it, to releasing these baggages and traumas, and going within, like you said. It's really important, and hypnosis is a great place to start with your self-healing. What do you guys think?
I think, it's interesting going down this road of being a quantum healer. You start to realize that we are so focused on the physical aspects of healing. You have an illness, you have an issue, something comes up, you go to a doctor, and thank goodness we have these amazing doctors, but a lot of times we are not treating or figuring out, where did that issue come from? How did it begin? A lot of times it begins in non-physical energy. It begins energetically before it manifests in the physical. Like you said, it can happen early in childhood from traumas and things that we experience, all the way back to being a child, even back to the womb. We see in sessions that the trauma can start in the womb. You can pick up on the feelings of your mother, or even the feelings of your father, and you can take that energy into yourself. You can sort of pull it into your physical form, and then that can create issues for you throughout your life. But then you realize that not only can it go back all the way in this life, but you can go back in past lives, and you have all of that energy that's unhealed, all of those traumas, all of those experiences that you never got to sort of finalize before you passed in that life. And you're bringing all of that energy back in this life because it's trying to come up to be healed. Then on top of all of that, you throw the attachments in. And, as we've learned, there are so many different types of attachments. It just boggles the mind at, the conscious attachments that you can have, and the non-conscious, the AI and the implants and all of the things. And it's almost like you're fighting an uphill battle just to live a healthy life. And you're going to doctors who are just not trained. It's over here in the Western culture, we're not trained how to deal with the body energetically. We don't understand that. So we just try to treat the symptoms, but they continue to rear their, ugly head. They continue to manifest because we're not getting to where it actually started, which is amazing about hypnosis, because that takes you back to exactly where that energy was created.
And you get the higher perspective, don't you? You can look at it all and see quite clearly in the session where you're carrying it and how it's been affecting your body, and then you can begin the process of healing.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. You brought up the womb thing, where it can go all the way back into the womb. And just last night before the session I had this morning, the client had vertigo. And so in the Metaphysical Anatomy book, which is a reference book that is really kind of handy right now.
Right here.
Yeah, right there it is. And so it actually, some of the causes for vertigo was like the mother falling when that person was in the womb, unbalance, different things being being dropped.
Yeah.
So it goes way back. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It really is.
Yeah. And I love, like you said, there's so many ways in these sessions that we can uncover this information, whether you're doing it through like in SCHH, we're trained to do that work at the beginning, to try to start uncovering those energies and those entities that are attached to a person. But then you can also uncover that in past life. So, that you're doing the regression, and you can go back and figure out where this phobia came from, or where this trauma was experienced and it needs healing. And then my very favorite is getting to the higher self part, where the higher self can really bring in, this is what this is connected to, this is what needs to heal or release, or, they can give you a bigger perspective that our doctors can't give you because they don't have access to that greater part, of your soul. So it's just a fantastic way of healing.
I love that too. There's so many points in the session where the healing can be done. And I love that. It's not just at the beginning and then that's it over and you do your past life. Like you said, you've got the whole past life and then you've got the higher self at the end. I just love it. Yeah. Because you often miss something at the beginning, don't you? And the deeper they go in, the more comes up.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
What? Let's start with Heather. Give us an example where you use that in a session, or give us a cool example of us removing an entity or discovering an entity. If you can think one off the top of your head. There's so many crazy ones. So.
There's most of mine have been, I started using Laura's blending my Beyond Quantum Healing with Laura's method early last year, when I got her manual with her scripts and things. And I started incorporating them. And then when she started doing her course, there was a component for me that was not missing, just not there. And I knew that my clients had more. There was more that I was missing. I was not quite getting everything cleared off of them. I started using Laura's technique, and she even said, when I signed up for her course and she started sharing all of the videos and things that she gives you when with her training, she said, just wait, it's going to open you up to all of these clients coming in. You're not going to believe it. And she was not, she was absolutely correct. I would say the majority of the clients I work with now have quite a few things attached to them. And I have had such a range of very, very dark demonic entities to your mischievous variety that's just like, I can mess with you, or, why are you there? Because I can be, because you guys don't know how to protect your energy. You don't know what you're doing quite yet. So I can. And then you've just got these sweet lost souls that are just looking for some help, and they don't know what else to do. They don't realize that they've lost their body. They didn't go into the light. They're just wandering around looking for someone to help them. And they come across, a person that's their aura's down. They don't have their protection up, and they sort of slip right in. I have so many that are, it's just the gamut, from those that you leave the session and you have to just sit there and think, what did I just experience, to entity release that actually feels very joyful because you helped these energies to get home, which is really what a lot of them are just trying to do. They just get a little confused and discombobulated.
Go, Karen.
I haven't had many of the demonic ones. I've had maybe 2 or 3, and that's okay with me.
That's good for you.
Because the ones I've had are pretty nasty. Yeah, it's the soft, sweet, lost ones.
Yeah.
And that is just, I find that a lovely experience, helping them to find their way into the light. Yeah, I'm quite happy I don't have too many of the dark ones. And when they do pop up, I really don't mess about too much. I don't chat to them for too long. I like to just bring in the big guns and get them out of there, because if you have a client that already has trauma, that could be another traumatic experience, going through all that. So I think it's just best to, when they're really dark, just to get them off.
Yeah. And isn't it amazing, the team that we're surrounded in that just swoops in and does that work for you? I've had some that were pretty intense, and I could see that the client was experiencing some feelings of distress while it was coming off. And there's part of me that goes, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And then there's another part of me that's like the higher self drops in. It's like drops down into the seat and says, I've got this, and takes over and just calls in the team. And all of a sudden you go into sort of overdrive mode, and they get it off, and the person is like, oh, they just feel this relief come over them. They feel lighter. They feel the energy that has been within them for so long completely release. And it's incredible too. What I love is just hearing from the clients after the session. We've done all this clearing work, and they email you and say, for the first time in years, my mind is clear, or I don't have these thoughts in my head that are telling me that I'm unworthy and I'm no good, and saying these horrible things. It's the most incredible work and journey that we get to do.
Yeah, and I think it's so important that we talk about this, because when I've had clients come in and they have had something really dark there, they're kind of shocked.
Yeah.
They're not expecting it at all. And that's difficult to explain before the session also, that this might pop up. But at the same time, it's important that they know that it's a possibility and they're not too surprised.
I've been really sharing it on my channel. I don't share a lot of my entity sessions because they are a little intense, but I felt guided to share some of the ones that I feel like people can connect and resonate with. Because what I found is when they do come in for a session and they have listened to the videos, they're a little bit more prepared.
Mhm.
So when it comes up, they don't feel that shock, like, what is she doing? Because you're still very conscious during your session. They're
Yeah.
more aware of what may happen. So yeah, I'm so grateful that we're doing this today. Thank you, Tony, for bringing us together so that we can talk about it and raise a little bit more awareness.
Absolutely, and it's
Yeah.
great. And this all started because of a dream I had where we three were in a roundtable discussion discussing how we could release those, this baggage that we don't know we're carrying and it's holding us down. I mean, I just the session this morning, I actually dealt with a laughing clown. It was lodged in the right shoulder, and the reason it was laughing was because it was angry, and the only way to hide the anger was to laugh. And it was very appreciative when I actually showed it that it had light inside it and that it could feel love and joy without that anger, and it was very happy to move to the light with the angels. It was a phenomenal feeling to get this laughing, and it was funny because it was laughing this clown to see what it's been missing, because when it passed, if it was a clown, I don't know, maybe it was just a funny dude or something, I don't know, but if it did pass and it was a clown, it did say that it saw a whole lot of light, but it did not go into the light because it thought it was not worthy of the light.
Yeah.
So it didn't cross over right. So it roams around and attaches to my client that had a traumatic event happen to her, and it lodged in her shoulder and was causing her pain in the shoulder and keeping her held back, because and it gave her feelings of anger and stuff like that. And I think a lot of times, um, we all have had a drunk night, I assume, but a lot of times, like when people go out on a drunk night, and you say, "Well, boy, I don't remember that," and that wasn't me. Could it
Mm.
possibly have been an
Mm.
entity? I think so. What do you think, Karen?
Oh my gosh, can I just say, whenever I go to a pub now, here in Cambridge, we've got some really old pubs. And before I walk into a pub, I'm like,
Putting on my
shi-
armor.
Yeah.
shielded up big time, because I'm like, what if, imagine you just got that sight one day and you walked in and you could see all these. Can you imagine how many there would be? I'm sorry, I forget the question. I was just thinking of my pub shield.
Well, I mean, I guess, the fact of, you know, those times where you do something as a person where,
Mm.
you feel this anger or anxiety. I guess that's what started me on my awakening, and where I am to now, is because when the craziness started, I felt a lot of anxiety and anguish and fear, which I'm not a, I don't, I just shouldn't feel that kind of fear and anxiety, but I'm getting it from the collective. I'm getting
Mm.
it from somewhere else. So,
Mm.
I mean, it could have been some of those entities that were taken off me when during my session, or it
I
could be
have,
from the collective.
yeah, I've had about 12 sessions now with different practitioners. I've never had a spirit, earthbound, or entity on me. It's always AI
Mm.
or spells, some sort of dark magic. That's also a thing.
I
Um,
I did I volunteered to do one of the training days in my course with Laura, and she chose me for the entity release. And I thought, I even told her, I was like, I don't think you're going to get anything. I think I'm good. I did. I really, and she even said, she's like, I don't think we're going to get anything either. You wouldn't believe the things that she pulled off me. And the first thing that came off was there was a demonic entity attached to my third eye. I can remember it was just like clamping, gripping on. And that laugh that you talked about came out of me. And it was this evil, um, like cackling. It was horrific, because over here the conscious part of me was very aware that, number one, I was laughing like that, and number two, I was in front of a group of, I don't know, there were like 10 to 12 people that were watching. So like conscious Heather is going, you've got to stop this, like trying to stop the laughing. I could not, because she had brought it to the surface, and this thing said, we're trying to grip onto her third eye because we don't want her to have that higher connection. So it's crazy when you experience it, and I'm glad that I got to go through that experience and have that releasing, because now I can connect even a little bit more with the clients that I work with. It's crazy what we can have attached to us.
I find that a lot of healers, or people that come to me that have a healing past life, they have blocks in their wrists. A lot of them have this, like there's something stopping their hands from healing.
It is the hands. I'm seeing, oh my goodness, the healing hands has been coming up in session after session after session, which I feel like so many of us who have this ability, which probably we all have the ability, but there are just those of us maybe who are sort of bringing it forward first. But in the sessions, the clients are getting activated and their hands are just lighting up. And even in this last session that I posted, my client brought through activations that actually I could feel. Like I was drawn to just put my hands up to the screen, and I could feel the energy coursing between us. And it was pretty incredible. Wow. So interesting that you say they've got the blocks there, because I can see they're trying to prevent the energy from coming down and coming through the hands.
Yeah, 100%. I've had to remove so many blocks. I don't know if they're AI or if, again, these are spell cast things, but yeah, a lot of blockages in the hands, but no prior pain in that area. It's just something that comes up in the session.
That's a good thing to think about, like when we're working with someone and it comes through that they've got healing hands, to just check that.
Check the wrist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had that black magic in my left arm, and the left is where we usually bring in energy to use. So that was there. And then you brought up the laughing maniacal demon. So in my session, I had that one in the throat that was connected to my heart and my head, controlling me, that was running. It was a little blue programmer running AI in my throat that looked like a box.
Yeah.
And I could not control that laugh. It came up, this evil, and my cheeks freaking,
it's not yours.
it's not. No, I'm like, this is weird. I even swore at Laura too, I think. But when she brought that AI box out of my throat, I actually coughed. And released that too. And it's just so crazy, but it's amazing how well you feel after just getting rid of that stuff.
Yeah. So with this discussion, I think it's important to share also that, it's important to begin to understand your energy and the energy field that surrounds you. It's important to keep your vibration high and your frequency high, so that's nice and strong. But a lot of times the guides will say, if you can't figure out how to protect your own energy, because sometimes it feels overwhelming to somebody to bring in the light and push the light out and visualize all those things. They always say, just ask us. That's what we're here for. All you have to do is get up in the morning and say, can you cleanse and clear my energy field? And can you place me in a white ball of light, or however you want to say it, and do that a couple of times throughout your day. And even before you go to bed, just call them in for extra protection, because it feels like to me, and I know we've always had these dark entities. They've always been around for as long as we can remember. But as we're moving through this shift, it's almost like they're probably getting shaken up a little bit more. So they're even, more trying to hang on and cling to us. Yeah. So just to be aware of your energy and what you need to do to protect it, because we do go into these places, which you can't avoid the places. And I even feel like you said, going, if you do go into a pub, like it wouldn't prevent me from going into any place that I know that they're there. I would just ask my guides to kick my light up a little bit so I can shine a little bit brighter, and just be the one that walks in like with my superpower hands, I'm just going to zap you out of here.
I often do that, Heather, late at night. You've gone to bed, you're falling asleep, and you're like, oh, I forgot to, cleanse my aura or whatever. And I just do that. I just go, Archangel Michael, can you just protect me and my children? Done. Off to sleep.
It's done. Yeah.
And it's not as hard as we have been led to believe. I mean, it is simple. It doesn't take a meditating monk to be able to do this. I mean, energies are increasing, and it is easy. It's so easy and so simple to do this stuff. And all it does is require just an ask, a visualization of you putting on the armor before you go out. I mean, it's just simple, so simple.
Yeah.
And we're led to believe through movies and programming that it's difficult.
Yeah.
That we need a priest to do this.
No, it's the human mind that makes it. Human mind makes everything difficult, doesn't it?
Right.
We overthink things.
And I wonder if that is because of the way we are, or if it's because of programming that they don't want us to know how simple it is to do this.
Good question. I don't know if we've just been programmed to be a bit lazy, maybe, but again, we're not taught any of this, are we?
No.
So,
no. I'm a preacher's kid, and this is absolute no off limits. This does not exist, not one bit. And I mean, of course, I was the black sheep in church, and I didn't really believe it because it didn't ever make sense to me. But so, I mean, programming, religion, education, we're not told this. We're told to stay away from it because it's evil. No, it's not evil. We have a team of angels behind us, and we're helping souls to the light, whether dark or not. They're all part of the light. They're all part of source. So
isn't it exciting though that what these conversations are happening now?
Yeah,
it's great.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just coming up all at the right time, I believe.
Yeah, I think there's definitely cultures, and especially even like the indigenous, tribes and things around this earth that do have an awareness of all of these things. But it's not shared mainstream. It's not talked about. It's just too weird and too strange. But yeah, I'm excited to see how we're going to move in to this in the future, this awareness. Like, how is it going to filter into more people's reality? And I guess just by talking about it is the way we start. But I always say, just as you're moving through your ascension path or your ascension journey, try to have an open mind. Try to be in a place of allowing all things to come in. You don't have to latch on to it. You don't have to believe everything that you hear, but to have an open awareness of the possibility of things that exist that we cannot see, that are outside of our physical reality. I think what we can just physically see is so small compared to what's really out there and what it really exists around us. So I'm excited to see how we expand into that, and when more people can start understanding these concepts a little bit better.
I tell you one thing, we all would have been burned at the stake if we were talking about this stuff and doing this stuff back 300 years ago.
I can tell you we probably were.
We probably were.
All burned at the stake.
We were all burnt. We've been there.
I haven't had that come up for me, but I have had quite a few witches being burnt in my sessions with clients. Yeah, and they were all healers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every single one.
I had one last night, and she's just been persecuted through so many lifetimes for having these abilities and using them. There was such fear around this type of thing. I mean, just think of like where we are now and think back a long time ago. You couldn't even whisper about this stuff, or they would think that you're some sort of, crazy person and come after you and chop off your head or burn you at the stake, or, and we're bringing that too. That trauma has to be healed in this lifetime as well, because the healers are coming back online and we're bringing this energy back and this information back. So there's still so many people who have experienced these past lives where they've been persecuted and they've had these terrible experiences. And like what I see in my sessions is they're struggling, they're tapping back into their abilities, but they're struggling to speak out and to step forward because they're afraid, because their body, the energy is programmed to keep them safe and protected. And it's going, nope, you better not share that because somebody's going to think you're crazy and come after you and hurt you. Mm-hmm. So that trauma has to be healed as well.
And you don't think we burn any of the bad witches, of course. It was all the good witches, all the healers,
right,
that were burnt, because we don't want people being healed. We don't want people feeling good. So
it was a lot of women they burnt. It was something like 300 million.
Oh my gosh.
So many.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What about the dudes? I mean, weren't there any dudes? There had to be some dudes in there.
You guys got away with everything.
Whatever. I look crazy enough. I look like a wizard.
I love it.
That was a really good point. Sorry about us being there, obviously healing ourselves. And then we're there to heal the other healers who then, it's like a tree, isn't it? And then they go out and they start healing other people, and it goes on and on and on. And this is how we change the world, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kaz, you had a good analogy the other day, and I think one of your videos or one of your interviews, where you were talking about the monkeys picking off the, cleaning the other monkeys. We heal ourselves, we raise our vibration, we help somebody else heal themselves, and it continues on and on. The light gets brighter, the energy increases. Our reality gets phenomenal because we are helping, we are bringing that light in and bringing good things in. We're bringing in abundance, we're bringing in that light. It was an awesome analogy. I just want to point that out. It was perfect.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, please use it whenever you want.
Okay. But yeah, Heather, what are you thinking on that?
I don't know. I just keep going back to the healers, helping the healers. I do have a lot of my clients are, I would say probably just about every one of them really are healers, whether they've been aware of it their entire life or whether they discovered it later in life. Like Kaz, you and I talked before this session, we were both graphic designers. We had a different life before we transitioned over into this work. But more people are starting to tap into that. They're starting to feel that energy running through them and wonder, what am I supposed to do with these hands? What's happening here? They're starting to just be drawn to these different modalities. But yes, you go to other healers to help you to release that baggage that we started talking about at the beginning, that baggage that sort of weighs us down and keeps you from stepping into who you really came here to be. So I feel like it's going to be a domino effect. What my guide said too, in one of my sessions that I had, is we're going to see healthcare just completely transform eventually, where we have lots of doctors' offices and physician offices and places like that. We're going to see that transform into more holistic centers and healing centers where you can go and get different types of modalities that actually get to the root cause of the issue to heal the body. And they said, a lot of the doctors and the nurses that are trained in the way that they are just natural healers. They just haven't quite yet tapped into that ability, but it'll almost be like a switch for them. They will start to realize, oh, hey, hang on. I have these abilities and now how do I bring them forward? And I even have a sweet friend, and I have seen her. She's trained traditionally in the work that she does, but she's starting to recognize things like frequency and how frequency heals the body, and then energy with her hands. And so you can just sort of see the beginnings of how that's coming along for her, and how it will probably come along for a lot of people.
Yeah. And these conversations just put that into people's awareness that little bit more, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Well, let's I think we kind of got it though, but Karen, what are your thoughts on Ascension and what we should be doing as to help the process, to help raise awareness, what are your thoughts?
Just everything we've been talking about, really. I mean, really just start caring about yourself more. That's what we need to be doing right now. Just focus on yourself. And when you're better, then you can start helping others. Yeah, I think that's the key. What do you think, Heather?
I absolutely agree. I remember very early on, I went through a really rapid, what I feel like was very rapid awakening. Lots of things came at me very quickly. I had to sort of figure out what is going on, what is happening. And I felt like when it started happening, I had to tell, everybody, because I thought we were all going through it together. I didn't realize it was sort of it was an individual process, and we were all going to go through it in our own time. But I can remember the guides very clearly. It may have even been in an automatic writing that I was doing. And they said very clearly, it's not important what you say to anybody else. It's not important to try to convince them of what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, what you're understanding. It's more important to do that inner work, to clear out the baggage, to release all of that energy that's been inside you, because as you do, you're shifting your frequency, you're shifting your vibration, and we're all so energetically connected. And so as you shift your vibration, you increase your light within, that affects people in such a profound way. And you don't even have to say a word. Like, you could just sit there in a room and just stay centered in your light. And you are helping others to begin that process of releasing without doing anything. They had to say it to me a few times, because I kept trying to still tell people. They were like, right? No. Just sit in your light. That's all you have to do.
But your way is so much easier. Right?
Isn't it?
Less stressful.
Yeah.
I always love to just go out when I go out and about, and I don't like, I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I don't go out that much. But just simply a kind word or a smile, and just watch how that person just lights up. I mean, I really think it's kind of fun to see them just light up at just a simple smile. That doesn't even have to be much, just me just sharing my light, and don't need to say anything, don't need to do anything, just a simple smile, just being me, and people just light up like a Christmas tree.
And it makes you feel good too.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It raises everybody's vibration. It's perfect.
Won't it be wonderful one day when we're all just walking around smiling at each other?
I know.
And how are you doing today? And what can I do? What can I do to make your day brighter? One of these days.
I told you guys, I think, in our Telegram chat, that I'd said to this guy, you look fabulous. I just had to tell him. He'd obviously made such an effort. And I was walking past thinking, I can't just say that. And I was like, yes, you can. And I was like, excuse me, you look fabulous today. He was like, oh, thank you.
And you know, he probably needed to hear that too. He probably needed to hear that.
So I'm going to start doing that more.
Yeah.
Telling people how great they look.
My vocabulary has gotten a lot more stuff that I would never think I would say before. I mean, telling people I don't even know I love them. Hell, just
I haven't gone that far, but
giving somebody a hug, that, I mean, that's kind of, you know, a lot of people are kind of iffy on that, but just even giving somebody a hug, I mean, we connect on our heart energy.
Yeah.
If we could get rid of the masks that are hiding our smile, the smile's healing. A hug is healing. So, you know, your heart, the energy center of your heart in a normal person goes out 5 foot. In a person that's lit up, I mean, it comes out 12 foot.
Yeah.
So a hug is completely therapeutic. A handshake is completely therapeutic. I mean, it's just amazing.
Remember the energy that comes out of your hands. It just goes right into that person.
Well, we're using the healing hands stuff that you're talking about that's coming up in sessions all the time. I mean, if you ever gone to church and everybody's laying hands on somebody that's ailed and praying over them, that's healing hands.
That's healing hands.
Right. Praying for somebody is the same thing as us asking for help and guidance. I mean, we all have been doing it. We just didn't understand how important it was.
Yeah.
Changing our food, you know, by just blessing it and changing it into something that is going to be nourishing and helps heal us. I mean, all that stuff.
That's huge. That one is huge. That comes up a lot too. Even when you're eating foods that maybe aren't of the highest vibration. The guides bring through so much. You can just put your intention into water or put your intention into food, say a little blessing over it, and you can completely shift the frequency of that food. And when you take it into your body, you're taking in a higher frequency. So it has a better effect on you just simply by speaking to your food. That's all we have to do.
These things are so simple, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're so simple. Like you said, Tony, it's not hard.
Not
it's
at
just
all.
Knowing what to do.
Not even knowing what to do, remembering
what to do.
It's remembering what we used to do, and that's all it is. And everything is just remembering what we used to do. We have all done this before. I have to tell you though, about blessing the food and stuff. Being a preacher's kid, I used to get really embarrassed when Dad would pray out loud in the middle of a restaurant to bless the food. Until now, I mean, I'm not probably going to pray out loud to bless the food, but now I realize how important that is, and you know, just never realized it, how important it is. And to even further concrete that fact, if you ever get the chance to watch The Secret Life of Water by Dr. Hashimoto,
we know who you mean.
Yes, I love him.
That documentary, because there's scientific proof there, how words, how touch, how thoughts, how intention changes the molecular structure of stuff, and how things flow through, like water throwing through square pipes makes a huge difference on making that water dead, as if you had that water running through a place, a whirlpool or a stream or something like that. It makes that water alive because of the sacred geometry that water goes through. So it's absolutely superb. So if you get a chance, watch that documentary, because that really sends it home how important that is.
Yeah.
I mean, just that point.
My boy wrote me a post-it note that said, "I love you, Mum," and he'd drawn a little heart and stuff on it. So I laminated it, and I sip my water on his laminated thing. That's a cute thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Changes the water, like you said.
It does.
Yeah. And that's the other point to that is, and I want to put this out. That's the other point to that is because our bodies are 80% water, almost 80% water when we're really hydrated. Most of us aren't drinking enough water, but our bodies are an electrical system. The medical community, our medical community right now wants to make the body a mechanical system where we cut out or poison and kill the stuff that is ailing. That's not how these bodies work. These earth suits, we're just basically light beings in an earth suit. This is how we function in this realm. This earth suit is an electrical system, and it's even in the medical caduceus and how that works. And this is pretty important. I mean, the caduceus, the medical caduceus, is kind of, made out to be a bad thing or whatever like that. No, it's a diagram of how the physical body works. You have the neutral pole running up the center, which is the pole. You have a negative and a positive snake running up the pole. That pole is your back. So those snakes, where they cross, that is your chakras. That's your chakra points. Where that, if it's out of balance, if you got too much negative or too much positive, it throws the body out of balance. If we're not drinking enough water and keeping the water in the system, it's like a battery. If a battery doesn't have enough water in the system, it can't function. So, I mean, it's a really good point. We are an electrical system. We are not a mechanical system. It, makes a huge difference in healing.
Yeah. And we should probably mention that we do the chakra bit and the aura at the end of our sessions, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To make sure that they're all working properly and your aura's not fragmented. And that's actually my favorite bit.
Is it?
Like to have done on me. I really enjoy that because I can feel them all lighting up and spinning. Yeah.
Feels like you're getting a little bit of a tune-up, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah, a bit of an MOT. Yeah, I love it.
Well,
it kind of is.
What's an MOT?
Oh, it's a car thing. No, you don't have MOTs.
It must not be over here in America, I guess.
Right. When you go get
I'm
your
just
car.
smiling like I know what she's talking about. I'm like,
I thought you knew.
I had one yesterday.
Oh no, I want to question everything. What is an MOT?
I'm gonna have to Google it now. Don't embarrass me.
Like a
online.
tune-up.
Yeah, when you take your car into the garage.
Yeah.
It's obviously motor something.
Okay, so Sarah's on our chat watching our live, and she just brought up a good point too with that as well. And that's why it's important to have our electrolytes and minerals as well, because
that's fantastic.
If you don't have that balance of those minerals and stuff to make that electricity function or the electrical system function, the battery charge, the energy flow, and you have a break in those electrolytes and those minerals that we need in our body, it's not going to flow. It's not going to work. The system is not going to work. So, and she just brought that up. I'm watching chat here. So
that's
thank you,
an
Sarah.
Excellent point. That's been popping up on my TikTok feed. People bringing different supplements that have all of the minerals in there. It keeps coming up into my reality. So I almost feel like that's like the guides going, hey, you need to get this. I need to investigate that more.
And that can be as simple as just putting a pinch of sea salt in your glass of water and add it back. And that will get your minerals and stuff. Especially, I mean, if it's a good, all sea salt's going to have those minerals in there, but a good sea salt, a pinch of it, not table salt. I mean, table salt does some good, but it does not have the minerals. It's stripped of the minerals. You need sea salt that has all the minerals, everything you need in that electrical system.
Or a nice Himalayan. Himalayan salt.
Yeah. Of course, my buddy's wife says that dirty salt. Because they get it out of the dirt.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I don't have time for a salt bath, I'll stick my feet in a
Oh,
bowl of
that's a
salt with Himalayan salt. Yeah,
that's
just to sort of get the energies
Yeah.
flowing in my feet. Yeah.
That's my number one go-to when somebody you try to help somebody ground or balance their energy is a salt bath. I don't know what it is about a salt bath, but I can go in feeling chaotic and come out feeling like everything has just come back in tune. It's like the energy is flowing chaotically around the body, but then something about that salt in the water just brings it right back into balance.
and part of that, Heather, is because we absorb the minerals like that through our skin the best.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that
That magnesium.
transdermal, bringing that in through the skin, and that it brings the body back into balance by being able to absorb that because of the crystals. The crystals are help. It's just phenomenal. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many things that we're doing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to have this baking cupboard in my kitchen, guys, like a double cabinet. Half of it is gone. And now it's just full of supplements and salts and oils.
All the
I don't need
things.
the baking stuff. I need some room for all my, yeah, like medicine cabinet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I love
amazing.
it.
It's amazing. Well, I guess one thing, people may be new to watching this. One thing we probably didn't explain very well was how our soul center healing hypnosis process works, or kind of give people an idea, uh, like I don't know how it's broke down, how we help to remove entities and such like. Does
Mhm.
who wants to talk about that?
Do you want to go ahead that? I mean, we could go really in depth or keep it
We
pretty
could.
simple.
It could be
Yeah.
just simple. Just
Um,
explain it to a lay term person.
yeah. So when you sign up for a session, the way that that's going to work is, and I feel like they're sort of customized based on what the client needs. But we always start at the beginning of the session just doing a clearing, and we're going to look for those things that may be attached to you, whether it's a consciousness, whether it's an earthbound spirit, an entity, an AI technology, those things that need to come off of the body. And we start that process in the beginning because it can block you from going into your session. It can block you from having the deep experience that you want to have. So we want to get that energy off in the very beginning of the session. For me, it just depends on, I will say more of my sessions lately, we have not done any past life regression simply because there has been so much time spent on the removal. If the client has quite a bit of entities or energies that need to be removed, and we spend a good bit of that, usually they're deep enough to go ahead. I mean, you don't have to be very deep to connect with your higher self, but usually they're ready to go right into that portion. So I will just take them over and we'll get the answers to their questions because that's always important to them as well. But if you have a client that maybe only has an entity or two, or just a little bit of clearing work, and you don't have to do that deep healing, then we do also a past life regression. Which can be a past life, it could be a future life, a parallel, it can be a galactic or an elemental life. There's an unlimited amount of experiences that you can have in these sessions.
That
And
was perfect.
each session is a journey,
They're all
right?
different, aren't they?
Right, Kaz? Each session is a journey.
Oh, 100%. Aren't they?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's
I
always
mean, yeah, so I've had some pretty great ones myself.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe make it clear that not all the kind of stuck energies are demonic, or
No.
some of it literally is just that emotional baggage that you're holding on to in your body that needs a bit of help in moving and releasing. Yeah. So I mean, I have plenty of clients that do not have any of these weird things.
Yeah. I must be getting them all.
They're all coming
They're all coming to me.
I guess we attract the stuff that we want to deal with too, I guess, maybe. But yeah. There's some
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
I'll take it. I feel like I even had guides in one session through a client tell me, you signed up to do this. It's almost like a reminder. I'm like, okay, thank you.
It's
Yeah.
I don't recall. Can you show me that little contract that I
Contract.
signed?
it's
Yeah.
absolutely it's absolutely amazing to even be talking about this stuff. I mean, I think, being part of this is just, it's actually really exciting to me. I love it so much.
Mm.
Although when the client had talked about the snake that was going down her arm, it didn't have a consciousness. It was just sucking energy, and it went back into a hole or a portal like a worm would do.
Mhm.
And I had Archangel Michael grab that quick and put it in the net so it didn't get away, but it kind of made me go, "Ugh." I don't like creepy crawly things, but so it threw me for a loop a little bit, but it was just really interesting that the amount of stuff that we can't see that's actually there and causing us
Mm.
problems. We had no idea.
Yeah.
Crazy world we live in.
It's crazy. Absolutely. 100% crazy.
It's so
So
nice to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think so too. So I think we're about an hour, ladies. Do you want to call it? Do you have any parting words before we call it? And I'll end the live. And um,
I think we've covered a lot, haven't we? I mean, we could probably just go on for hours more, but
we could talk forever.
Yeah.
I'm sure,
share
guaranteed.
all our stories and everything.
See,
um,
I told you, Heather, you were a warrior before. You have all these war stories. You're in there. You're
War
doing it.
stories. I'm doing it. Yeah.
You're in there doing it.
I've done something, I think, for
Uh-huh.
sure.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, I would just say, for anyone who listens to this at a later time or is listening now, three amazing practitioners here. I don't mean to put myself into that. I feel like three amazing
You
practitioners. Anyone who does soul center healing hypnosis, any practitioner really, if you're feeling drawn, I always say, you will be drawn to the practitioner that you're meant to work with. And I do think that we're matched up based on our energy. I like to ask in some of my sessions when I get to the end, if I feel a really strong connection or there's just something there, I'll ask, how are we connected? And there's always a past life. We were sisters together, or we had some kind of contract, or there's something that brings us together. So if you're feeling guided to have a session, just find a practitioner that you feel comfortable with and get that work done, because it could be life-changing. It can really transform your life in a way that, maybe you haven't been able to experience yet, in your
inc-
journey.
incredible.
Yeah.
yeah, and people don't know what to expect, but it's such a beautiful experience. I've had people coming to me that, oh, I don't know what to expect, and oh, what's going to happen, and then afterwards they're just like, wow,
Yeah.
that was completely amazing, and not what they'd kind of built up in their head.
Oh.
It really opens people up spiritually.
Yeah. It's cleaning out that baggage.
Yeah.
Just getting rid of it.
Get it all out of there.
It makes you feel lighter. Throwing
Yeah.
the shit out of the boat.
Yeah.
It's holding us down and holding us back. We can't sail in the wind. We got to throw the shit out of the boat.
I like that expression. I'm going to steal that.
and we got to burn the ships then when we get to the shore, because we're not going back.
Right. Never.
So, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And you guys are in the top. I'm not in the top three, but you guys are in the top three, especially if you ask any practitioner who Heather Hink is. They know who she is. They've watched her.
They do. Yeah.
And I'm sure 100%. And Kaz is out there too. But so you guys are my top, my inspiration. And I absolutely am so thankful that I got to have this discussion with you. I'm glad I get to work with you guys. I mean, this is incredible. The whole thing is incredible. To even think about me talking about me even doing this is absolutely incredible. But It's so satisfying to watch a client, come into a session with doubts and have all these things weighing them down, and to walk out like you can see. I mean, if you almost want to grab them so they don't float away, but and just see it. I mean, just see their glow on their face. I mean, most of our sessions are done over Zoom, which I don't know if we've actually talked about that,
We
but most
didn't
of our
mention that.
sessions are done over Zoom where we can make that connection. But to see the difference in the glow in the face when people are done with the session is phenomenal as well. And I mean, it's just, you can see the improvement on their face. You
Your
can
whole
see it.
demeanor changes. I've noticed
Right.
that you have clients come in that are really, really anxious at first. And you can tell, like, the more that you do the sessions, you can almost tell when you're going to have some things to pull off at the beginning of a session. And then you remove all of those. And at the end of the session, it's as if you're almost talking to a different person. And you can right then see the change in them. And it's quite amazing.
And even 2 weeks after, I have people writing to me saying, "Oh, I've had more downloads and I've been researching this," and that's brilliant. I love all that too.
You open up that channel, you open up that connection even more for them. Yeah.
100%. It's brilliant.
So it's almost been 2 weeks for me since my session that I had with Laura, and I am still just, I mean, things are improving. I feel something in my body. I'm like, ooh, that's healing. I feel that. That's good. I feel that. That's good. And I'm still just on this. I've never felt this way before in my whole life. I've always been, feel like I'm dragging, feel like I keep running up against the walls. I feel like I don't have energy. It's absolutely crazy the amount of healing you get from a session. I'm still in amazement.
Yeah.
Can't even describe it in words. It's just nuts.
You're just blissed out.
You definitely do have to experience it for sure to understand the power of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm sure I'm going to have bad days, but I mean, any bad day I have now is going to be better than any day I've had in the past. And it's just unbelievable. So, anything else we want to throw out there before we end it, the live?
Yeah.
No, I'd just like to say what a great host you are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
No, it is.
It's fantastic.
I'm just sitting here on my front porch.
You had the dream. You had the dream, and here we are.
Yeah.
So now I just need to build this here at the ranch. I mean, this is my front porch on the front of my house. Actually, it's kind of funny.
Nice.
I don't know if you can see it there.
Nice.
I guess you can.
Yeah.
But our plan is to kind of make this a healing, reset, rejuvenation center.
There you go.
Eventually, because we have that abundance where we come across this for some reason. I have no idea why. I think we're guided here too. But well, thanks for that, though. I don't really think that I'm a good host. I just
thank you, Tony. No, you were great.
Chatting among friends. So
no, you were really good. We should do this again.
Absolutely.
So let's end the live, and thank you guys for watching. If you're out there, thank you, Sarah. I see you chatting. I know you're there. I don't know if anybody else is watching, but I will have the links for the Kaz's and Heather's where you can find them, where you can book a session, where you can follow everything about them. I'll even have a link for Laura's course and to book a session with her too, if you want. And of course, you can book a session with me if you like my warrior, drawn out, boring voice. I don't have that loving, nurturing, trying to ease the entities out voice that Heather and Karen have. But so if you like it, you can sign up for a session with me. But it's been amazing. I love you guys. I love all y'all. And we'll chat again soon, I'm for sure.
Thank you,
Tony. Thank you.
It's been wonderful. Good to see you. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.